Let's talk about venture capital. Moving to something completely different. How does this work? Yeah. Now, I've been around since 1965, and I've seen a couple of technological advancement that at one point of time you were born and you came in there and you had a look as well. I mean, there was the computer, the internet, mobile phones, cloud computing, Web3, and now artificial intelligence. And the interesting thing about all these developments is that it was a small technical advancement, actually, that brought about a huge wave of innovation. And when you think about it, the Ethernet sort of created Cisco, created the connection between computers. Out of this then came the internet, the HTTP protocol. On top of that, the sort of secure internet created companies like PayPal. You had then the blockchain, which as the first app created the Bitcoin, and then smart contracts with Ethereum. And it's quite interesting when you think about Uber. I mean, who would have thought that a little protocol would disrupt the taxi industry? Just when you go back and see what's at the bottom of all these innovations, it's a little thing, a little protocol. Now, I'm going to talk about two things. One is share some observations with you that we see from startups in this space. I mean, at Blockchain Founders Capital, we see about 2,000 business cases, startups every year. And of those 2,000, we invest in 12. So that's a bit less than 0.1%. And it doesn't mean all the others aren't great, but you have to focus on some things. But there is one thing, and this conference is about crypto and Web3, which we can definitely say. Web3 is dead. If you look at the fundings in this industry with a peak in end of 2021, then you can only say that this thing is going to shit. And it's the first crypto asset conference where I heard the F word 3 times by speakers. 3 times. And that's got to mean something. Now, as a venture capitalist, do I shoot myself? Do I change the industry? Do I move to AI? No, because Web3 is as dead as the internet was in 2000. It's as dead as electric vehicles were in 2006, and it's as dead as AI was at the beginning of last year. Because the thing is with the AI, it's been around the block for 30 years. And everybody's saying, oh, it's going to come or it's not come. So, I mean, who would have thought? And then, what was it, December 19 of last year when ChatGPT was launched? All of a sudden, AI is a big breakthrough. Now, AI will change many, many things, but it's not going to be adopted everywhere tomorrow. So wait for some, how shall I put it, some remorse in the AI space coming up as well. But it's definitely great technology, just like the others are. Now, the second observation is we've seen all these token models coming up with the ICOs in the year 2014, and then it lasted until sort of August 2018. And I think we can say that these casino days are over. It was fun while it lasted, but I don't expect that we'll see the same effect. I mean, what happened? People were writing a white paper, raised millions and sometimes billions on this white paper, and then didn't do much. It was the reversal of the old IPO scheme where you had to do the work first, and then the IPO was sort of the peak of your career as a startup founder. And now the money is paid first, and then you have to do the work. Now, 99 point whatever the number is, 99.7% of all projects never went anywhere, and all this money was basically lost. On the positive side, however, we are seeing quite some progress in Web3 infrastructure, which makes it safer to use, and that has been the overarching theme here that we heard today, is banks are getting more comfortable using it. There's lots of security steps in there. It's also getting easier. There's account abstraction coming and a lot of other technologies that should increase the demand for Web3, and we're pretty confident that it actually will. Now, number 4 is on the same scheme, regulation. Regulation gives validity to an idea. And actually, it's a great sign that in Europe now we have a pretty stable regulatory system. It doesn't yet encompass everything. NFTs are still out, and we'll have to do how it works in practice. But it is definitely a validation of all these founders working in this space that what they are doing will have a lasting effect. And number 5 is, I mean, the key to crypto will remain solid use case. And we've seen Volker Braunberger from Funds of Chain talking yesterday, presenting what he's doing. And we're seeing in our investments other examples of really clever use cases where people don't actually talk about blockchain technology, but they use it. So not just protocols. I mean, we have so much infrastructure. Imagine we didn't just have Linux, Windows, and Mac OS, but we had thousands of operating systems. I mean, how confusing would that be? Yet in the blockchain world, we have that. So it makes it a bit difficult. Now, let me give you 5 pieces of advice to founders in this area. And it not only applies to Web3, but in general, but many of these things we see in the Web3 projects. Now, the first one is, don't take a chunk that is too big. Focus on a small problem in a big market and try to solve that problem. You don't want to work for a year until you actually find out if your idea has any merit at all. Focus on something small and make it bigger from there. So basically establish if there is real demand. I mean, people always talk about this product market fit, and most people actually have no idea what it means. I mean, in a nutshell, product market fit is when you find a small subset of your user group that you can get really excited for your product, that are willing to pay for it, and that wouldn't want to sort of work without your product. If you can't find that after a certain period, then pivot. Do something else or change this product and try to find out where the users actually are. Now, the third one, and it sounds so obvious, but yet people make this mistake over and over again. Talk to your customers every day. We've seen founders working on brilliant technological solutions for a year, only to find out that their solution is not what their customers are looking for. And trust me, this happens all the time in the industry. So building your product with an expert group of users, for example, that's an approach to go forward. Again, it's so simple, but most founders are afraid to talk to customers because it might hit them right in the head because they will find out that nobody needs their product. Don't do that mistake. It's hard, but talk to customers. The fourth one is forget about blockchain. Nobody wants Web3. They want a solution, they want a benefit. So whatever you're doing and whatever use of blockchain has for your particular product, put the benefit left, right, and center, not the technology. I mean, does Amazon advertise that they're using internet technology? They used back in 1995, they used to back in 1995, but they don't any longer. Simply use it, but don't brag about it. Nobody needs it. And the other thing is, I mean, you've heard about these funding rounds where startups have gotten 100 millions and more. Actually, this is not great for founders at all because founders get diluted in this whole game. And you want the alternative is you want to have a startup that is as capital efficient as possible. And if you find product market fit, if you talk to customers early, you might even get to a revenue position very early. So these have been 5 points, and let me give you a bonus point. The bonus advice is, and many of you might want to work with this already, is use AI tools wherever possible, especially for coding. It's amazing what they can do. Actually, my thesis is now every big company needs only one coder, one top coder. The rest he'll do with the AI tools. And because it's a nice conference, I have another bonus advice for you. And the other bonus advice is there's lots of noise currently. You might be discouraged about what you're working on the Web3 space. But if there is a real pain point that is out there in an industry that you know something about, it might as well be you fixing it. And all previous technologies, as I showed you earlier, have been declared dead. I'm absolutely confident that Web3 is here to stay, but you have to find the right use cases. And the very last bonus point is, if you have a great idea, talk to us at Blockchain Founders Capital. Thank you very much.